60 Minutes Rewind.
No one is more crazed about speed skating than the Dutch, and no competition inspires more frenzy than the Elfstedentocht. It's a mouthful to say. It takes some practice. Elfstedentocht. It means the 11-city tour. It's a punishing 125-mile race that links 11 cities along frozen canals. It's an epic test of endurance, and it's been a sacred part of Dutch life since 1909. The winner becomes an instant celebrity. There are no bigger heroes in the Netherlands. Now the legendary race is under threat. But as we found out, the Dutch will go a long way to keep the tradition alive. It's 6 a.m., race day. Thousands of Dutch skaters shiver in the dark, steeling themselves for the marathon ahead. Goggles protect against the freezing cold. Headlamps are the only way to spot the dangerous cracks in the ice. Jockeying for position, the racers push toward the starting gate. At the gun, they stream eagerly into the darkness. From the air, it looks like rush hour. Careening around tight corners, the skaters fight for every inch. Soon, the early morning sky is flooded with pink light. It spills over the mountains. But wait a minute, there's something wrong with this picture. There are no mountains in Holland, and that's a lake, not a canal. Turns out we're not in the Netherlands, where the Elfstedentocht is supposed to happen. The Dutch have moved the whole thing 750 miles away to Austria. Why? Back in Holland, winter is just not showing up the way it used to.
What do you feel when you look at this now?
I feel extremely disappointed because I know it's not going to happen this winter.
Chief organizer Wiebe Wieling has the thankless job of working all year preparing for the Elfstedentocht as if it's going to happen. His group even has a dedicated national weather forecaster on high alert for freezing temperatures. There's no fixed date, it just needs to get cold enough. And that hasn't happened in Holland for 23 years.
In your lifetime, have you seen the weather change, the winters change?
Yes, we see less winters and less severe winters. It's changing.
We met at the Bridge of Tiles, where the grip of this race on the national psyche is on full display. Anyone who ever finished the Elfstedentocht is immortalized here. Wieling raced it twice.
Do you remember when you raced?
Yes, I know the day I got married, but the 2 days I raced are even bigger. My wife is not here, so I can say it. But that's the way it is for most of the participants.
There's even a term for this skating obsession, Elfstedentocht fever. As soon as the temperature drops, the Dutch start praying for ice. But these days, you're more likely to find ice indoors. Global warming has slashed the chances of another Elfstedentocht happening in Holland to a sliver. For world champion skater Erban Venemars, that cuts right to the heart.
People ask me, like, would you give all your medals away for one Elfstedentocht? Of course.
You have 2 Olympic medals,
Yeah.
6 world
Yeah.
speed championships.
Yeah.
You're a national champion.
Yeah, yeah.
And
all given away, of course.
you would
sure.
give all that away
away.
to run this race.
Yeah.
It's that important to you.
Yeah. I think it's come so close to where sports is all about.
He told us his biggest regret was that he's never skated the Elfstedentocht in Holland. He was away at the 1997 World Cup last time, and he worries there might not be another chance on home ice.
What would that mean to the Netherlands?
Ooh, that would be a loss for Holland. A big loss for Holland, a loss for our tradition, about our culture, because it's who we are, it's what we do. We skate.
The last Elfstedentocht in Holland is now the stuff of legend. 16,000 skaters strapped on their blades. Millions took the day off and cheered as a Brussels sprouts farmer named Henk Angena sprinted the last few yards to win.
Yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, I have a super day.
Wat een fantastische winnaar.
He had skated 125 miles without stopping in less than 7 hours.
6 hours and 49 minutes and 11 seconds.
And 11
Yes,
seconds.
11 seconds, yeah.
It's not just a race.
No, it's not a race. It is.
Overnight, he became a star. There's no prize money, but with his newfound fame, he traded sprouts for show jumpers. The race, he told us, changed his life.
The day before the race, nobody knows your name.
Yes.
The day after the race,
Everybody.
everybody in the Netherlands,
In the Netherlands,
knows
yeah.
who you are.
Yeah.
What's that like? You're a hero.
I'm a hero, but I'm still Henk Angenent.
Now a coach, he was among the thousands of Dutch skaters who packed up and poured into Austria for the relocated race, for what's called the alternative Elfstedentocht. Sitting high in the Alps, tiny Weissensee, a village of 700, balloons to 6,000. It's a friendly invasion. There are boisterous Dutch pep rallies ahead of the race. Plenty of Dutch treats. And lots of traditional sing-alongs. How the race ended up here is partly down to this guy, the Icemeister of Weissensee, Norbert Yank. In 1989, he helped persuade a visiting Dutch businessman that Weissensee always had good ice. This year, 10 inches thick.
So that's thick enough to hold all of these skaters.
Das ist gut, das Eis ist perfekt.
The ice is perfect.
This yearning for ice is why the Bloom family is here. We met them getting down to the business of carb loading ahead of the race. They had driven 11 hours from the Netherlands to get here.
So you are the
Blom family.
And there were a lot of them.
I'm Geert Blom, the eldest one.
I'm Janneke Blom.
I'm Florence Blom.
I'm Frederike Blom. I'm married to this Blom.
I'm Sharik Blom.
Even the youngest, at 10 years old, was aiming to skate 60 miles.
And I hope to skate with my mom.
All the Blooms had the fever.
I'm Stanny.
Well, almost all.
I don't like skating.
Tomorrow we all have this. And also here.
Yeah, so you can recognize us.
Yeah.
These days,
Johan Bloom explained what the race meant to them.
the biggest sport events in America. What is that again?
The Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Super Bowl America kind of comes to a standstill. At that times 3 would happen if Netherlands would have an Elfstedentocht.
Really? I think the Netherlands must be the only country in the world where people hope and pray for a really cold winter.
The Blooms conceded it helped to be Dutch.
You get up early in the morning, it's dark, there's always an injury. It's like everybody gets blisters. What's the attraction?
Everybody on the ice is 50% more friendly than at other times, and so it's so nice.
It's the suffering together in the end that keeps you going as well. Because there's definitely suffering involved, I can tell you.
But nothing seems to stop the Dutch when it comes to skating. This veteran racer fixed blades to his walker. As the sun climbed higher, the pack thinned out and crashed out. The top racers, going the full 125 miles, still clung together. But some of the Blooms, and many others, were just trying to reach their personal best, like Howard Morris, a librarian from Minnesota and the lone American in the race.
I heard that you called yourself a slow speed skater.
Yes.
Explain that to me.
You'll notice a lot of the Dutch people are very tall, much taller than I am, which gives them longer legs, which also gives them the ability to do a long stroke with their legs.
Morris told us he'd started speed skating in his 40s. When he dreamed of doing an Elfstedentocht, a Dutch friend told him he'd have to go to Austria.
What do you think of the fact that they have not been able to have an Elfstedentocht in the Netherlands since 1997.
It's the reality of the times. And I know some people fear that the whole tradition of skating, which is part of their culture, will die out because of the change in winters.
Even here in the Alps, there are worrying signs. While Weissensee had ice, the village had almost no snow. And this year's race was limited to only half of the lake. The ice wasn't thick enough elsewhere. In full swing, it's hard to tell who was winning or losing. But for the racers going on 6 hours, none of that mattered. What mattered now was not falling, getting back up, and finishing. Howard Morris made his goal of 30 miles.
What's the best part about it for you?
It was kind of fun to hear my name announced as I crossed the start-finish line, too.
The story will continue after this.
The winner of the marathon blew by the finish line and collapsed, exhausted. But you might too if you'd been skating for 7 hours nonstop. After the thrill of victory came the agony of the feet. Some crumpled into the arms of supporters. Others just ignored aching muscles. And the Blooms?
People say the people who do the Elfstedentocht, you have to be a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it helps.
He's crazy. So the Blooms are a little bit crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, but it's true.
The Blooms were on the lookout for 10-year-old Jean-Ric. Finally, they spotted his blue jacket. Jean-Ric had skated about 60 miles in just over 9 hours.
You know, there have been a couple of broken bones here.
Yeah.
Somebody got taken away on a helicopter.
Yeah,
I mean, this can be dangerous.
It is. If you're tired, you know, your coordination is not that what you wanted anymore. And you see the crack, but your legs won't do anymore what your brain's telling them to do.
Yeah.
As the day faded, the racers summoned the last of their energy. These skaters had watched the sun rise, and now the sun had set. That night, the skaters were toasted at a traditional blister ball. But if this bunch was hurting, it was well hidden. These skaters were still on their feet, drunk with accomplishment. Back in Holland, race organizer Wiebe Wieling resigned himself to another winter slipped by.
No ice, no skating. Next year, a new opportunity.
Hope springs eternal.
That's true.